Pastor James, it's wedding season. Don't
Wait,
you?
I thought you hated wedding season.
I do hate wedding season.
You are like the grumpiest person I know.
Curmudgeon is the word I prefer, but yes, cynical, yes. But it's not. This one's not about me, Pastor James. Pastor James, don't you have a question about weddings and love and marriage and all that stuff?
I do. The first is actually why weddings are so expensive, even for the parties not involved.
But
Groomsmen outfits, am I right?
well, and flowers and cake and dresses and all the things. But having said that, we need to keep this under 5 minutes. So, Pastor James, what's
Oh,
your other question?
right. For the show. That now I remember. My question was, in your spirit of cynicism, do you have to fall in love to get married?
I mean, today that's the presupposition, but for most of human history, including in the Bible, that is not a requirement. In fact, you were sort of this. That was sort of the goal that you might eventually fall in love with your spouse. It sometimes in places, but if you read this story for today, Pastor James, you'll see that Isaac doesn't even meet his bride until they're married.
What? I want to hear for the first time ever this crazy story of a real biblical understanding of marriage.
Oh, you want a biblical understanding of marriage, do you, Pastor James? Well, let me tell you about this Bible story. Yeah, Abraham has decided that his son needs to get hitched. So he sends his servant a fair distance back to where he came from to find himself a wife from among his own people. And basically, God provides one and hands
What,
one to
wait,
the
wait, wait,
servant.
wait, Pastor Chris, what were the qualifications though? Was it about personality, career prospects, high school athletics?
Not even remotely. It wasn't about looks. It wasn't the only prerequisite was that she is not one of the peoples among whom we live. She had to be a member of the family.
Well, that's not very romantic.
Not even remotely. There is no romance, best I can tell, in this story whatsoever. Maybe in the last line, but you and I disagree about that last line. So we'll just let that go.
Well, for now. So this heroic servant finds a woman, the woman, as it turns out, and now I lied earlier. I have read this story. It turns out this is one of the happier things about the story. Rebecca at least is interested in this plan.
She is interested in the plan. Apparently, she is good looking. It is also important to know that basically the servant shows up and then first says, "My master is rich," and then demonstrates how rich his master is.
That
These
that,
are
that can be helpful.
and these are more or less prerequisites in the ancient world. Like we may say today, "Oh, we marry for love, not marriage." They didn't think that way. Love, not money. They didn't think that way back then.
I mean, for you and me, it's the only option we had, bud, uh, because the money was not there. But so they go, they finally meet, and then I know since this is a biblical marriage that it was faithful, chaste, beautiful, and that they had a loving relationship from day one until death. Until death, they did part. After that, is that correct?
No. No, I mean they're pardon me. As a very wise biblical scholar and theologian recently pointed out in our pregame, no, that was you, by the way, not me. No, they their marriage is fraught. I mean, they disagree on what is arguably one of the most important things about parenting, i.e., child raising.
Yeah, I
They
mean they pick favorites. Like if you've ever said like that's like choosing among my children,
they did
Rebecca and
it.
Isaac, they would say, and your point is. But here's maybe where that idea gets some legs is they disagree about who's the favorite, and Rebecca, literally on Isaac's deathbed, is undermining him to
Scheming.
scheming to promote Jacob. So I guess I've come around 180, or maybe this says you do need love for a marriage because this marriage is a total disaster, right?
I don't know that it's a total disaster. And it's important to point out that, God works through this marriage. God basically picks Rebekah to be Isaac's wife. And then the promise that was made to Abraham those generations ago, I wasn't that many generations, but it was a few years ago, comes through the marriage of Isaac and Rebekah.
Yeah. So Jacob is born, and Jacob is Rebekah's favorite, and he becomes known as Israel, the 12 sons, the 12 tribes of Israel. Um, the point we disagreed on is that the Genesis tells us that after Isaac married Rebekah, he was comforted about the death of his mother Sarah, which you think is a little weird, maybe a little Freudian. I think is a little sweet. Why can't it be both people? Um, but it's so you're right. Some good ultimately does come out of this, and it all culminates in what, Pastor Chris?
and
Way
it's
down the
so
road.
and it's so important to know that throughout these stories in Genesis, these are messed up people that God still chooses to work through and chooses to bring about the promise and the plan. And ultimately, the promise and the plan culminate, we believe, as Christians, in the person of Jesus Christ. And so when you start Matthew's gospel and you read the genealogy, and if you're at Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Allegan, Michigan, we will be reading the genealogy at the beginning of Matthew in Advent. Lucky us, lucky you. Then you see that these people who are just one messed up person after another, God chooses to work through that to bring about to bring about salvation through Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think the problem is not with the Bible, but with my question and seeking an answer from there. Um, the the Bible is not trying to present perfect model families and tell us what a biblical marriage looks like. Quite the opposite. The Bible's describing these very messy characters and very messy lives and saying, even through these people, God is working through it all. And I think once you understand that, the book of Genesis really snaps into place. So I think we should tell the audience that you and I have very happy, very loving marriages.
Yes, that's
Um,
important to know.
but we didn't get our cues from Genesis, even as we asked for God's blessing upon it. That's not where our marriage rests.
Right. No. Um, no, not at all. I mean, you could go back all the way to the beginning, Genesis 1, Genesis 2, maybe, but certainly not these stories. These stories that
No,
we're reading
I would
through.
say that I would say the image of marriage, the best one is from Ephesians, where he talks about Jesus and the church, that he loved her and gave himself for her, and it's this mutual giving that's really the foundation of marriage, not what we read in the first 50 chapters of the Bible. Uh, those are humans like us, and the miracle is God still can work through
And
humans
thank
like
God,
us.
God works through them and God works through us.
Amen.